Joel Gerson, Rev MMA, welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Technology difficulty there. We're good now. So a little bit of prep work last night, and obviously I'm just researching you and your background, and I came across a cool video. One of my guests was talked about on the Joe Rogan show, so we're just going to play it here.
I went back and did you saw the video I did with Joel Gerson. You know Joel?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I don't know if you guys met, but
no, we never met.
Yeah.
But I was a big fan of his.
Yeah.
He submitted. Fuck, who was it? Was it Sakurai? No, it wasn't Sakurai.
Asian guy, right?
Rumina Sato. He submitted
in Japan.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, I don't think it was
I can't
in
remember
Japan.
What he told me.
Maybe it was in Japan.
He went overseas. I know,
but it was a huge deal because Rumina Sato at the time was one of the biggest MMA fighters in the world. Pull that up if that's the case.
But it was mostly
I think it's Rumina. I believe it's Sato because Sato was like a super high level jiu-jitsu competitor, as well as a mixed martial arts fighter.
Yeah, because Joel said that it was like I can't remember. He was saying he wasn't sure how practical his knowledge of fighting was until then.
Huh, that's interesting.
And because he got the guy in an arm bar.
Right.
After going right to the ground, and he was like, it was over right then, you know.
You know what, man? There's dudes out there that you don't know that are fucking world class. The thing about jiu-jitsu is there's guys out there.
Yeah, that was it. This is it.
Is this it?
Yeah, this is it.
How does this go down?
It's not long, or I guess it's 4 minutes, but
I feel like this is the second fight.
I think this is the one. And he gets him down on the ground and does an arm bar. Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Didn't they fight twice? Didn't they fight once? Oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he fucked his arm up, obviously.
Oh, dude, that is incredible, man.
Yeah.
Oh, look how bad it's bent, man. That is death too. Look how he squeezes with his calf against the chin and tucks his foot under the shoulder. That dude has submitted a lot of fucking people.
So this guy was a big jiu-jitsu guy that he fought? I didn't know that.
Sato was a big MMA fighter, but known for his grappling.
Really?
And I think they fought again in a straight grappling thing.
That's pretty cool. Joe Rogan show.
Rogan has such a crazy memory for these fights because
he does. He can recall these crazy moments in fights and little details too, right?
So the thing with Sato, he was on a 10-fight win streak, and he was the first non-Brazilian to beat Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts, which was unheard of back then. And he was a very flashy fighter, very spectacular submissions. And he was actually the UFC matchmaker, Joe Silva's favorite fighter, and they never got him to the UFC. He was very loyal to the Shooto brand.
So he just wouldn't.
He never fought in North America. He only fought in Japan. And he was known for submitting people very quickly, and he was
well, that was
an
pretty
interesting
quick. That was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Or?
I think it was like maybe around at the 4 minute mark of the first round. Okay. Yeah, it felt like a lot longer though.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Was that a big surprise to you? Like he was a pretty big deal. Was that a big upset?
I wasn't supposed to fight him. That was my first fight, so I wasn't supposed to fight him. When I had a teammate, Carlos Newton, who was a UFC champion also, but he had fought in Japan originally. And he had come back and he had a big win, and he was on a card that Sato was on. And Sato had just beaten John Lewis, who was already another MMA legend. And we came, it was one of those things with VHS tapes back in the day. And my coach came back, and everybody in the class was gathering around to watch Carlos's fight, and we watched the rest of the card. And we see, Rumina Sato beat John Lewis at the time. And I remember my coach made a joke. He's like, "Don't worry, you're not going to have to fight that guy, your first fight." And then the Japanese sent a fax. And it was always like faxes and Mr. Gerson and Mr. Sato. And they wanted me to fight Sato for my first fight. And my coach was like...
Were you already there? You were in Japan when you got...
I was in Japan. I was in Toronto. But at that point, I was kind of... I had a lot of experience at that point, but I had never fought at that level, and I had never fought professionally like that. So...
You're aging yourself. They faxed you.
I know, right? I know. Well, it was just the beginning of the internet because people were talking about it in chat rooms.
Yeah.
And I remember printing out like all the chat from the chat rooms at that time. There was like little forums and everything. But it was stressful because the training at the time was so disjointed. So you never really felt 100% confident that what you were doing was the right thing because there was no blueprint. Like now, we have tens of thousands of video and evidence. Sure. People know how to train MMA, but back then you couldn't even find fight shorts.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, the Gracie University and how well organized it is. Like the video, it's incredible.
This was the Wild West back then. So, and then I had to catch up on a lot of things I didn't know. Like, I was.
How long had you been training at that point when you went to Japan? And...
So, around 10 years. But at that point, I didn't have striking skills. Like I had a lot of gaps in my knowledge.
And you also had a judo background as well, right?
Yeah, so I was able to mix it in, and I was able. The thing is, I knew what this guy could do, and there was a lot of unknowns, and the reality was like I wasn't 100% confident going into the fight. My coach was also spending a lot of his time out of the country, so I felt very alone. I had a boxing coach that I spent time with, but it wasn't one of those things where I had to convince myself I could do it.
What was the feeling like that at that moment when you?
It was incredible relief.
When he submitted?
Well, the thing is, like, my legs were so gassed. So first of all, he was kicking my legs so hard, and we couldn't really duplicate that in training. It was one of those ones where it felt like I was getting hit with a baseball bat to the thigh. And if you're, when you play a video game and you're the character in the video game, and the energy starts to go down, that's what it feels like as a person in a fight. For sure. Your energy's going down, and you're getting slower. And then what happens is you become more susceptible to more strikes, and you get slower and weaker. And that was happening.
It's funny. It's like I've just started training with you. We've been training 5 months now. You're part of my health journey over the last 5 or 6 months, and that's the thing. That's the biggest eye opener, and the appreciation you have for jiu-jitsu is, a guy like myself, bigger, a little bit stronger, is used to just pushing through it all and muscling their way through things, and you and everything you teach is all about slowing things down and relaxing, right? Yeah.
The whole idea with jiu-jitsu is it gives the strength to the smaller guy or to the person who's more technical that has the knowledge. So what happens is, a fight is chaos. Everybody's going crazy. We're talking about not necessarily an MMA fight, but a real fight in a real situation. But what happens is, we burn energy at the same rate. But if you get in a fight with someone who's bigger, stronger, more athletic, we're burning energy at the same rate. As somebody who's smaller, you burn out first, bigger person defeats you. What jiu-jitsu does is it allows us to chill. We perfect the techniques that allow us to chill while the big guy burns, and then when he burns out, we defeat them with an arm lock or a choke or submission hold. And jiu-jitsu gives people the confidence and the skill to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest learning curves for me was, again, just not trying to muscle through everything. Like when someone puts their arms around your neck, you just want to...
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Thrash.
Yeah, and what the thing with jiu-jitsu is we know all of the potential reactions that you could give. And if we don't know them, we adapt to the situation based on our training so that we kind of it's almost like being able to see into the future. We know from this position the person's going to have these kind of reactions, and even if they improvise, we adapt based on our experience. So we're taking you into unknown territory, but it's very familiar territory for us.
When Chris D'Elia was talking to Joe Rogan, he was talking about a conversation he had with you and the Sato fight, and he says you didn't understand the practicality of your skill set until that fight. Can you explain that?
I actually think D'Elia was mixing up another fight story that I had told him that was not a professional fight, but something that had happened in the street. Like when I was younger, which is a whole other story. And I think at that point
it was a bouncer on King Street, wasn't it?
That was a whole other story. but yeah, at that point, you train in your classes, and you can duplicate again with trained people. Whether it's a black belt in karate or a guy that's done judo or a guy that's done jiu-jitsu. Like back then, we were just mixing up all the different styles. And sometimes you don't know what you'll do in a real situation until you're in that situation. Yeah.
People don't know how they're going to react in strenuous situations like that, right? Yeah. Until it happens.
And I tell my students that you're going to revert to what you've done 1,000 times in training.
Yeah. We were always talking about muscle memory, trying to, when we do things, we're working on different skills, and you try to pull it all together at the end of our private sessions.
The reflex development drills.
Drills.
Put everything together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that takes a while, because like even my last week when I was working with you, like when it was Ronnie, I think you put me up against, and he was as far as the opponents that he put me up against so far, he was on to really test me the most, because he just wasn't letting me fall into what you were looking for. Like he was making me work for it, right? And that's where that muscle,
and you start to see, you think you know something, but then
in the situation,
we see what your body does. And that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, is it's something that's very testable. So there's a lot of martial arts, obviously, that, you know, people talk about that they're sort of untestable solutions to problems. And one of the things the UFC proved was, well, let's see what works. You know, people talk about, well, I would gouge your eyes. That's great, but how do we test that? How do we know that you would respond under pressure with that without somebody actually losing their vision? So the beauty with jiu-jitsu is that it's very scalable in terms of your response. So if you're a drunk uncle that grabs you at the barbecue, puts you in a headlock, are you going to rip his eyes out? You need to have a Swiss Army knife of solutions to different problems.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Things have changed a lot since back then too, in 1998. Like when you're saying, like gouging the eyes out. The UFC back then, they were really doing that. Like, it was like no holds barred. It was pretty aggressive.
They were close. Yeah, they still had some framework of rules, but it's obviously much more organized now. I don't know if it's safer now, but it's like these guys they're better at kicking and punching than they were before. Yeah. So
when tell me about your background. How did what got you into jiu-jitsu and judo back in the day? What age? And
I started when I was 13. I had dabbled in other martial arts, but I knew that when I was in those classes that I just didn't feel like it was going to be practical for what I needed. My problem growing up is I was the smallest kid in the class with the biggest mouth, probably something in and around there. And also I jumped schools, so I was going from private school to public school, and I would go from private school in the middle of the school year to public school, but my parents wouldn't buy me cool clothes, so I was in public school with my private school clothes. So that's a very good character building experience.
Sure. Yeah, I bet.
And by character building is
it's like wearing a flag.
It's a target.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the sweater and the gray slacks and the shoes, and everybody else is wearing beaver canoe and roots, and just one example. But
that's some old brand.
Yeah, like so people are gonna. But the thing is, kids are very good at poking, and that everybody's got their triggers. So over time, if something had to give, I had to learn something. And also, I remember I was craving the discipline as a kid. I didn't know what the word was, but I knew there was a word for it. And I knew that I needed the structure and the discipline.
And how old were you exactly?
13.
13. So what did that discipline, what did that structure do for you in other aspects of your life? How did it carry over?
It focused me when I was in school. I had, as a kid, you try and please your parents. And I was also pulled to please my coach. So when I was in school, I had to be very focused on having good grades and getting into a good university. But then I also couldn't miss training, and I was also teaching, and I had competitions. So it taught me to be very very focused on my time management. So when it was time to have a spare or a lunch break, I was studying and working and doing schoolwork that I'd have to do in the evening, or I was hustling off to training in the evening, and I'd have to just organize my time in a very structured way. And I wasn't a big partier. So on the weekends, I was either working or recovering from training or training. So it just had me in a very disciplined line where my goals were set and priorities were made.
Amazing. Talking about practicality, and you made reference to being able to control situations. For people that are listening to this and kind of describing the different disciplines, and again, not to knock other disciplines, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is very effective. It's very practical in situations that you don't necessarily want to enter, or they're spontaneous, where a lot of some of the other disciplines are, they're tournament-based, they're tournament-focused, right? Like karate and taekwondo and stuff like that. So it's kind of describe to the listeners what Jiu-Jitsu does for people, and what's the practical application to it.
I mean, there's value in training in all the different martial arts, and people are drawn to different styles. The thing with Jiu-Jitsu is that it deals very closely with, as a grappling art, very closely with what a real situation would look like, without going into harming the individuals. So I want to say that it's what we call it's a soft art that we can train hard in. And the real way to test what you'll be able to do in a situation is to train hard and duplicate what you would in a real situation as much as possible. So, other arts sometimes they have a lot of limitations, and Jiu-Jitsu is probably the art that has the least amount of limitations in a controlled environment without risking the health of the individual. So, for example, like I love boxing and I love Muay Thai kickboxing, but at a certain point, when you train hard enough in it, it's not necessarily good for you in terms of trauma to the brain. And you can train boxing and you can train kickboxing and get good at it, and it's very practical for self-defense. But when you really want to see how far you can go and test your limits, at a certain point, there are inherent risks that can be irreversible. And while there can be still risks with jiu-jitsu in terms of, just like any activity, you zig when you're supposed to zag, you can do it until you're an old person. It's very safe that way. So.
I guess what I was trying to get out of you there as well, like from a practicality standpoint, what I like about jiu-jitsu is, you know, when the distance between you and an aggressor is being narrowed, which it always does. In a situation, someone, you know, a mugging, an assault for women, and a sexual assault, right? The distance between you and the aggressor is always
real situations always get to intimate connections in close quarters. It's very rare for real situations to always stay at a distance, especially between a man and a woman. It's always very grabby and clinchy. And jiu-jitsu
and can go to the ground fairly quickly.
And a very high percentage goes to the ground. And jiu-jitsu specializes in that range and in managing that range. So we have an expression in jiu-jitsu, we say we manage the distance, we manage the damage. And if you and I stand at a certain distance, those kicks and punches can do a lot of damage. But if I'm further out or all the way in, then it's like putting water on fire.
There's a reason why Conor McGregor, when he fought Mayweather, it was a boxing match and not an MMA match, right?
If it was an MMA match, it wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes.
It wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes, right?
Even as a boxing match, he landed shots on Mayweather and went the distance, which is incredible and unheard of. Even Mike Tyson was talking about it.
Yeah, it was actually an impressive fight, I thought. Talk to me about the switchover. You know, from fighting. First of all, let's go back for a second. Your fighting career, Sato and whatnot. Where did your professional fighting end, and when did you make the switch over to entrepreneurship and running your own gym?
I did not enjoy fighting with Sato.
I love the honesty.
I was a full-time university student, and I was also teaching kids and adults at that time. And I knew my future was always in teaching. I was always a...
What were you teaching at the time?
Martial arts.
Okay.
So my father was a university professor. He was a PhD. My mother was a teacher. I have teaching in my bloodline. I learned very early on how to run classes. That was my focus. It was important to me. Fighting was extremely important, but how to structure and run a class properly was always very important to me. That was more important to me because I knew long term. But the fighting aspect, when you're doing MMA, it's not a pleasurable experience, number one. Number two, there's a part of you that you have to bring out in training. There's an aggressive part that we had to focus on, that kill, that I knew for me wasn't a healthy aspect of my personality that I wanted to harness. It was I was very aware of it in training, that there was a part of it that it's not, this wasn't a part of me that I wanted to grow bigger.
You've heard Mike Tyson talk about it, right?
100%.
He hated the person he was as a boxer.
Yes.
He became a monster. The minute he walked out of that locker room, started heading down towards the ring, he became a completely different person.
Yes.
He was scared to death of that person.
So after I had some experience in Japan, at a certain point they wanted to keep bringing me back, and they kept faxing. And they would say, we would like Mr. Gerson.
I love the faxing.
Yeah, we would like Mr. Gerson to fight. There was another fighter, the Japanese fighter at that time, that was also doing very well. And we, thank you very much.
That was an honor. They wanted that.
They wanted to bring me back because at that point, it was a big upset. But you have to understand, Japan, they were betting on fights.
Yeah.
So this changed everything on its head. Like now, the betting lines were all changed, and there was money to be made. But I kept competing, but more in tournaments. It wasn't MMA anymore. The striking and getting kicked and punched wasn't what I was rushing to do.
No.
And the money was good at the time, but it wasn't worth my health at the time.
No. The guys that do this night after night are just like there's something different in them, right? Like you see their ears, and
guys would come to me when I opened up my gym, and they wanted to fight MMA, and they said, I want to fight MMA. And the first question I would have to them is, were you beaten as a child? And they go, no, why? And I go, well, I can teach anybody to give a beating, but you're going to have to learn to take a beating. And you're competing against guys that were beaten as children by adults. So how much pain do you think you can possibly inflict on them at this point?
Yeah.
And that was the reality. You know, it just wasn't, it's not the direction that my life was to go.
Talk to me then about some success stories. We're talking about discipline a few minutes ago. You know, you have a great kids program. My kids are in your program, and a number of my friends are actually, their kids are in the program. My kids are loving it, right? They've been in as long as I've been working with you. We started at the same time. Talk to me about the program and what it's done for some of the kids. Any success stories? I know you've posted something recently where a couple were generous enough to kind of share their story.
Our kids program just keeps growing. We actually, this past Tuesday, we just broke an attendance record. We have a very popular bully-proofing program that focuses on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and specifically Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And everything for the kids is done in such a way that it's age-appropriate and level-appropriate, but we gamify all the techniques. So they're learning how to move properly, but they don't realize that they're learning that, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Told you need water.
You're right. Edit that out. But we do everything in a very fun way. So, I mean, the class is disciplined and it's very structured, but at the same time, it has to be entertaining for the kids. So we call it edutainment.
Because the kids are starting at 4, right? Like my little guy.
We take them at 3 now.
Yeah, 3 now. Okay.
Yeah. But you got to come into class with them.
I won't lie. I've been squeezing him into the junior class with the oldest. And he's been doing well over there.
Yeah,
but I see some young kids there.
Yeah, we start them early. Yeah, and then at that age, it's a shorter class. Everything's much more playful. But they learn the major positions. They learn how to deal with bullies. It starts early, and then they grow up with it.
I recently realized that I'm completely normal and my children are normal. You know, we talked to a guidance counselor just about my oldest daughter's behavior lately, and just not listening. You know, not paying attention, very easily distracted, and you know, she reassured me you're dealing with a 7-year-old, right? So there's nothing that you're doing wrong. There's nothing that she's doing wrong. It's just part of growth. But I'll tell you, when I see my kids, my 4-year-old included, who, you know, shiny objects, and he's looking in every direction. But what I'm saying, when he's in your classes, they're focused. They're focused.
I make a major point of when I'm teaching, the kids are looking at me, and I need their attention. One benefit to the kids, obviously, is the technical training, but the major benefit is the character building. They're learning how to deal with challenge and struggle and discomfort and emotional regulation, mindfulness, all that stuff. So the benefits, they take time in some cases, but in some cases very quickly. You know, so it's true. You'll see that with your daughter for sure.
Yeah, both. Like I said, like they're very focused. They're listening to Jeff. Jeff's their instructor.
Daniel.
I keep saying Jeff.
Close.
I don't know why. It's funny because my children had his name mixed up. They were calling him Joel, so they're mixing you up, obviously. And then I started calling him Jeff for whatever reason I don't remember.
He looks like a Jeff.
You've
got the beard.
You've corrected me like 5 times now. But what about the Gracie aspect of things? You switched over, so your gym wasn't always Gracie, and then you recently switched over in the last few years, correct?
Correct.
What was that move? What prompted you to do that? Obviously, it's a big.
That was a big decision. I've never affiliated with any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu federation my entire life. When we were doing Jiu-Jitsu in Canada, we were it like that. You know, for me, they had very interesting beginner programs that I thought would be very practical for adults, and
that's the Gracie Combatives.
Gracie Combatives program is the #1 beginner program for Jiu-Jitsu in the world. Very practical, very safe, and I wanted to be able to represent them in Toronto. They did not have Toronto representation. So my original interest was through the police. I wanted to teach the police, and they had a very good program for teaching police, and I just inquired. And then when I sent an inquiry, and I got a phone call from Henner, who's the main guy, and we had a long conversation about it, and I realized like his program is not just that. There's this, because I wasn't aware of everything else. And then one day I was in LA training jiu-jitsu, and I messaged him and I said, "Hey, I'm in town. Do you want to meet up?" and we talked for hours.
Is that where he's based? LA?
Yeah,
okay.
in Torrance. And we spoke for hours, and I saw his facility, which was spectacular, and I saw his classes, which were massive, but just
well organized.
Just so well organized and structured and practical and fun for the kids. And I'm like, okay, there's something to this. And I don't ever think that I don't think that I know everything. Like jiu-jitsu teaches you that. Mm-hmm. It's part of, it sort of humbles you that way. And when I was there, I thought, well,
so there's somebody that knows more.
Or that knows different things. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they know more. They know a lot. We both know a lot. But there's things that they know and experiences that they have that I could also use. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like, I just always want to get to the next level. So if you want to grow and improve and do stuff, you have to change what you're doing in some way, in many respects. And that was at the time where everything was reopening with COVID. And I said, if there's ever a good time to change things, it's now. And that actually sold my other location. So it was perfect timing. I could focus on this location. We could dial it in.
Oh, so you switched over and moved here at the same time?
I had 2 locations, and then I sold one. Yeah. So it was perfect timing for everything.
And I think I've seen something. The Gracies, the family is actually up and at Rev for the launch of it. Am I right?
No.
No? I thought I saw something.
No.
I saw Gracie's there for some type of, you were giving a speech?
I was there. I went there.
Oh, you were down there. Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's what it was.
Sorry, I thought it was at Rev.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I mixed that.
No, that would be maybe down the road. That's something to strive for.
And what about what does Gracie? What else does they bring besides the programming and whatnot? Like we were just talking about Gracie University. I really like it. You were harassing me to start getting into the videos, following each of our classes, and I've just recently jumped into it. And it's excellent video programming.
Very structured, linear, safe training.
Because it's very complex. Like that's like. Again, it's not brutish at all. It's chess, not checkers. Like jiu-jitsu is there's multiple steps to where you're trying to get to.
It's like a physical chess game.
Yeah.
And the way it's usually taught in most places is very unstructured in a lot of cases. And I don't want to say that it's wild, but there can be a lot of risks if it's not taught properly. And we get people that come to us that try to something at another gym, and they won't necessarily have a positive experience, just because they were like thrown in, and they come and they see the benefit of the way we do things, and it's a big eye opener for them.
Mm-hmm. Back to the anti-bullying program that you talked about. One of the things I wanted parents to hear from you today, and I think it's so there's no misconceptions, right? Like some parents are apprehensive to put their kids into what considered a combative sport or fighting, or it's not necessarily encouraging fighting in their personal lives, school, dealing with bullies. It's about teaching control of situations, and again, it's not a striking discipline. It's a
grappling art, but what they're learning is to set boundaries. And what we know is that kids, just like adults, they will only uphold a boundary that they feel confident upholding. What that means is, if a kid has the skills and the confidence to defend himself, and he tells another kid to leave him alone, his voice is going to be very different from a kid who's scared, who has no skills, and that knows that he has no backup plan, who's trying to set a boundary with another kid. The same thing with an adult. If a man is approaching a woman and she's scared, he will hear it in her voice. And he's less likely to be dissuaded from moving forward on that attack. It's the same thing with bullying. When you have the skills, you're confident, and the other person sees you as less of a threat. It's more believable. The person sees you as not less of a threat, less of a victim, and you're more believable. So
it's like the animal world, right?
Yes.
The predators don't go after.
Yeah. So we're teaching them the self-defense skills, but they're not having to use it. But if they have to use the skills, they have it.
They can control the situation.
But they learn how to talk to bullies. We have a whole structured program. How to communicate with the bully, how to deal with all the different layers. So there's an anatomy to that whole verbal conflict and a de-escalation tactic that the kids learn, and they memorize the script, and it's fun for them.
It is. I've watched it. I love the language that you're using. when talking to them. And you see the kids react very well, but you can just look at the kids, and every one of them have had a situation. Like, and we all know from growing up, like there's nobody's not gone through. Even the bullies have been bullied, right?
It's part of growing up, yeah. And they also learn, how to help other kids that they see being bullied. So, you'd be people. I think parents are surprised, in a lot of cases, that when they realize that their child is actually the bully. But how do you raise a child to not be a bully? That's another thing that has to come up for parents.
And this programming is good for the kid that is a bully as well, because you're teaching discipline, you're teaching respect for this type of
the whole thing with the kid. With the kid who's bullying, what is he trying to do? He's trying to make himself feel better. He's trying to make himself feel confident. Maybe he's trying to be popular.
And this instills confidence.
And this instills confidence. But over time, what it instills is an inner confidence that's much more quiet, that doesn't scream.
It's great. You talked about you've always been training. You've always liked running the classes. You're really good at structuring classes. You never wanted to get pummeled in a ring night after night.
Right.
Right. So
yeah.
Tell me about the entrepreneurship aspect of things, the running of the business. Did you enjoy the transition to going from teaching for somebody else to launching your own gym?
It was always in my mind. I mean, I did my time in university, but it was always in my mind when I was a kid that maybe one day I would have my own place. And I was watching other owners to see what made them successful over time. And you try and filter the good and the bad. You make mistakes along the way. But I think just like any entrepreneur, you never have you never open with all the answers. And what you realize at a certain point is you'll never be 100% ready. At a certain point, you just have to do it and have the confidence that whatever problems come up along the way, you will find a solution in that moment. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs wait till everything's perfect before they launch. And it's just, you can't do that. At the same time, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that open before they're ready and they fail. But at a certain point, you have to just go. And so for me, over time, the timing for me was perfect when I opened. Over time, you learn what you were weak at, and you improve on it, or you hire the people that can take care of it, and then you keep moving forward.
You have a great team over there. Where can people find you? Where's the best place for people to find you and learn more about the offering? The
website for the club is revmma.com, revmma.com. My Instagram is Joel Gerson, so they can message me directly if they need to reach me directly.
And what's the handle for Rev?
It's also Rev MMA. Instagram is Rev MMA as well. So that's the easiest. But the best is, definitely, or just come by.
Yeah, stop by. That's what I did. I think we're going to head to the gym now, right?
Let's train.
Yeah? Who are we training with today?
Your buddy Ron.
Ronnie? Oh, yeah. You got Ronnie. Great. he's the tough one.
It's good.
Awesome. Okay, looking forward to it. Let's get it over there.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Great. Okay, so let's go bad guy, aggressive, indicator. Yeah, manage the distance. That's it, yeah. Okay. Freeze, reset. I want your hands up.
Okay.
So it's not this, it's either gonna be this or this, but I'd rather this.
Okay.
That's it. Close in. That's it. Helmet.
Yeah.
Good, let's reset. So we're gonna go helmet. Hands are gonna go helmet, hit, and to the side. Good. Yes, that was good. Tight, tight. Good. Clinch the hips in. Good. You're gonna do a little setup step on this side. I want you to do more of an angle. Setup step. No. Slow down. Just go back into your clinch. That's it. And you take a step in with this foot into the middle, and then the other leg is gonna hook his leg. Remember that?
Oh, okay.
Make sure when you chop the leg.
I was going last week's lesson. That's right. I was just saying.
Yeah. So when you chop the leg, I want a little safety step. So you're gonna hook and then base.
Yeah.
Good. Easy. Good. Right to mount. Good. Good. Now from here, he's gonna try and throw you off to the side. Base out the hand to the corner. Good. Other side again, Ronnie. Boom. Now let's go low swim. Low swim again. Let's go high swim. That's That's it. One more time. Let's go one arm at a time when you go to blade your shoulders and then swim. That's it. Now he's gonna go slow. Give him some space now, Mark. He's gonna turn to that side. That's it. Turn out. So we're gonna bring this knee north, and that foot's gonna cut in over here. Good. And then from here, you're gonna hook his arm with the hand closest to his legs. You're gonna sit up, posture up a little bit. The other hand push down on the head. Good. Walk that foot up towards me. You're gonna lean the head south and bring that foot over. You're gonna spin around. Good. Go easy on the arm. Good. Let's do it again. Good. Helmet, hit, hug, tight. Little setup step, little safety step. Chop the leg. Beautiful. Try not to fall on your knee next time. Good. Good control. That's it. And now off to the side, Ronnie. Try and throw him off. Yeah. That's it. Again. Up. So whenever the shoulder goes back, as that shoulder goes back, then that same hand's going to
I'm going this one first.
Yeah, so blade that shoulder and then insert again. Go again. Push, blade, insert. Yes, one more time. Up. Now he's going to turn. Adjust your hips. Put your weight on your hands, Mark. No. Weight on the hands. Heavy hands. Light legs. Slide that knee north. Good posture. Go slow. Get that foot flat. Walk it up. You can push the head. Yeah, his hand's there for you. So when he puts his hand there, put your hand on his hand. That's it. And then lean your head south towards the legs. Step over. Good. Leg down. Nice. That's it. Good. Okay. So when you close, when you're in here, you're gonna pick up, drop, and then get to mount. So we're gonna do that, except this time, same idea, except he's gonna turn. When he turns, turn. I'm gonna base onto my hands, keep going. First hook goes in, second hook goes in. I'm gonna walk my hips south. I'm gonna seatbelt roll off to the side. I want you to grab the wrist, wrap the neck, turn his face, rear naked, head comes to the side. And we'll squeeze from there. Okay?
So I'm going up.
It's gonna be this. It's gonna be this. You're gonna come in. You're gonna bend your knees tight, lift a little bit, and then head pressure onto the shoulders.
And I'm to the side of it, right?
Always when you clinch, when you come in, I want you on a 45-degree angle. So it's never here. It's either here or on the other side, but you're coming in at a bit of an angle. And then it's this kind of action. Let's go aggressive again.
Yep.
Yes, that's it. Good. That's it. Nice. Right to mount. Then Ronnie turn.
Yep.
Right away. Let him turn. That's it. First hook in. Let him build his house. Second hook in. Walking the hips back. Go slow. Seatbelt, Mark. Connect your wrist. Fall to the side. Good. Get that hook in. Careful. That's it. Control his wrist. Grab his wrist. Good. Push it down. Control your breathing, Mark. Slow. That's it. Good. Turn the. Yeah, you can use your hand or turn. That's it. Head come over here and squeeze. Let's squeeze and tap. Good. That's it. What'd you do to your knuckles? Punching walkers again?
No. Boxing classes last week.
Oh, really? Oh, you're doing the. You went to the boxing?
No, this is downtown. It was F45. Like.
Oh. Okay.
Boxing.
I was gonna say.
So the gloves were like.
Cheating on us?
No, they were MMA gloves, so.
So those are the worst.
It was just pads.
Let's do that same sequence again.
Cheating on us.
That's it. Hands up. Boom. That's it. Nice takedown, right to mount. Good. Same idea, Ronnie, turn to me. First hook goes in, he builds up. Weight on your hands, walking the hips back, Mark. Good. Make your seatbelt, grab your wrist, fall to the side. Get that hook back on top. Good. Control the wrist, push it down, wrap. Good. And then turn the face a little bit. Put the hand behind the head. Good. And squeeze. Nice. That's it. So when I'm on top, his hands are coming up, protect his face. I'm gonna go 2-on-1. Frame. Chalk the neck. Palm comes under. Grab. Drop your head. Far hook goes up. Knee flares. Rotate that wrist out and then slowly tap. That's it. You do it again. Hands up. 2-on-1. Pen, use your weight. Drop. Elbow in the neck. Hand comes under. Palm up. As I do that, this hook goes in on that far side. Palm in, grab, baby finger down, head down. Okay, you're on top. That's it.
Where do I start down in?
No, his hands are up, he's protecting his face. You go 2-on-1 slow. Freeze, go back. Go slow. Let's do my side because I'm already on this side. So we're gonna go one hand here, one hand here. That's it. And we're gonna try not to use our thumbs. So make a monkey paw. That's it. And then pin. Good. Elbow into the neck. All the way to the floor. Here, right? Correct. Other hand's gonna go palm up, slide under, grab your wrist, go slow. Far hook goes in on the far side. Punch your foot up to the ceiling. Beautiful. Head down. Drop your head so he doesn't punch you. That's it. Roll the baby finger down. Roll this baby finger down. And paint the arm south. Raise the elbow. That's it. Good. Let's do that.
Doesn't take much, eh?
No, stay there, stay there.
No, the movement doesn't take much.
No, not at all. That's it. Go slow. Frame. In the neck. Good. That's it. Palm under. Good. Head down. Punch that bottom hook. Up and back. Is your foot hooked into his leg?
Yep.
The far side. Good. We'll do one more time. That's it. Let's do the head grab variation. I'll show you how it looks. So same, but different. I'm grabbing his head from here, and then maybe I grab his neck and the hand comes to defend. I grab his wrist, pin the wrist, shoot it away from his arm, from his head. He starts to defend, he brings it in. I grab and I hook. Switch. Under, lose the head, switch the thumbs. Boom. Again. So I want to draw his hand towards his head. He brings his hand in. I grab the wrist. Pin. He starts to bring it in. I lock it. Hand off. Thumb. Hand comes under. And now I'm going to switch. Lose the head. Everything else the same. Boom. Good. So grab the head with your forearm. That's it. So you can draw attention to his neck. He's going to come into the fence. Use this hand. Like you want to try and, yes, good. Grab his wrist with a C grip. So grab it, pin it, and slide it distance. Good. He brings it in. Hook it with your other hand. Freeze. Go back. Let's do that. Just stay here for a sec. Hook this. No, keep that. That hand was good with the thumb around. Yep. Put it back. This hand, let's secure it 2-on-1. So this hand to here. So slide this in. And now you see how like these two hands, like Ronnie, try and move your hand. See how strong this is? Now slide this hand to here. No, the other one. That's it. And now you can grab with the thumb. Open the thumb here. And see how it's like a ball and socket? Go slow. Now lose the head. And now lose the thumb. That's it. Good. Head down, leg up. Good. Grab the head. And draw attention to the neck. That's it. Pin. Straighten out. He brings it in. Hook your own wrist. Good. And now slide it down. Make space. That's better control. Now with the thumb full grip over here. Good. Come under. Lose the head at the same time. Lose the thumbs. Nice. Beautiful. You know how to do twisting arm control? Did we do that? No. It's fine. Let's go to standing like guillotine from standing. Okay. So the idea is you're going to want to manage this distance. When he shoots in, you're going to sprawl your legs. You're going to block. Legs are far, staggered stance, arms are framed. If you're late, you can use your forearms. It's here. Guide his head, wrap, grab your wrist, settle in, and choke from here. Shoot, block, good. Grab your wrist, go slow step in, squeeze. Good, that was nice. And you don't have to go from the hands to the elbows. You go from the hands, just right away grab. Sprawl was good. You try not to burn your arm. Coming in hot. Boom. That's it. Perfect. Good, one more time. Same idea. This time I want to frame with the heel of the hand.
And do I always go to my forearms?
No.
Before
forearm? No, like you're saying as a stage, I go from here, so I'll go right into here. Okay. I'm saying I only go forearms if I'm late. Like I go to hands and I'm late, and this is my second frame from here. Yes. Guide. There we go. That's it. Boom. Tap, grab. Good. We've got the guillotine. Good. You remember anything else that you've learned? We haven't done triangles yet, but we could touch on triangles. Any other takedowns? We did body fold, leg hook. We have not done double leg yet. Not a big deal. Oh, haymaker.
He was doing the headlock defense.
That's right.
Let's do headlock defense. Let's review it. Okay. So if I grab Ronnie, here. If you remember, he's gonna hug the hip and take a little set-up step. This hand's gonna frame the knee. We're not gonna finish the takedown.
That's where I was heading at the beginning.
That's it. And the idea, I remember, yeah. And the idea is he's gonna sit his hip to here, and then we're gonna drop. That's it from here.
And when I draw,
You're gonna sit and spin.
right. Okay. And I want him to. Okay.
You're gonna end up on top.
Yeah.
We'll go slow. So Ronnie's gonna grab you. We'll talk you through it. That's it. Hug the hip. And frame. Take a little. Stabilize onto the side. Even a little bit more. Turn the corner more. That's it. Freeze. That's your setup step. Hand's gonna frame the knee. And then hand's gonna frame the knee over here. Bring your hand in. That's it. And now what I want you to do is turn your toes through the hole between his feet. So just pivot your foot. There you go. That's your go step. Now we're gonna sit that hip to the floor, and the other leg is gonna go long and low.
Right.
So we're just gonna collapse and sit over here.
Sit over here.
You're gonna sit here, but you're gonna turn your head and look at him.
Good.
Yes, 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 yes. Really good, Mark. Slide north. Ronnie, keep his head. Keep his head.
Oh, no.
Good, let's do that again. That was good. At the end, you're gonna finish with one knee up, one knee down. Modified mount. He's gonna be on his side at the end of the takedown.
Right.
But you got it. You got the hardest part. Let's do that again. So he's gonna grab, hugging the hip, taking a little setup step. Good, framing the knee. You're gonna sit and spin. Slide this foot up, base, perfect. Good, let's do that again. Make sure we don't throw him backwards. We really want to get that swivel.
Okay.
I want you to sit your butt here, turn, frame the knee, and you're gonna collapse here, and then you're gonna keep turning and look at me. Go. Yes, get to mount on top. The top leg is, foot is in, bring your foot in. A little bit more, bring your foot a little bit more in here, so cut him in half, more close to the belt even. That's it. And then hands nice and wide for balance. Hands are open for balance. So Ronnie, try and roll him this way. That's it. And now he's testing you. See that? Perfect. That's it. Now what we're gonna do, Mark, we're gonna connect this to the arm lock. So you're gonna pop your head out. Take your head out. Yeah. Now hook his arm. Just follow me. Slide your foot up. Good. Sit up a little bit. Push his head. Yeah. And then lean and step over. Legs down. Don't cross your feet. That's it. Good. Okay. Let's do that together.
Sorry.
Oh,
2 weeks in a
breathing.
row, I forgot my bend.
Oh no. Good, go slow. Stabilize your base. Good, sit and spin. Top, stabilize, knee forward. Bring that knee behind the shoulders a bit more. That's it. Good, let's hook the arm. Hook the arm, this arm. Walk the foot up, push base the head with your hand. No, put it on his hand.
Yeah.
Lean your head towards the legs. That's it. Leg on his face a bit more, Mark. Just go slow, freeze, bring the arm to the other side. Arm to the other side, always towards the legs. Good, let's uncross our feet. Ronnie, move your hand for a sec. Follow me. Yeah, leg over here. Perfect, tap. That's it, good. That's nice. Okay, what else have we done? So I'm gonna throw, remember the haymaker?
And I go from rear?
I'm gonna just build a shield on one side. You done this one or no? Yeah. So if you remember the details, when you're gonna make a shield on one side, you're gonna bring your hand behind your neck. The other hand just gonna cast a net. When he goes to punch, I dip under, I catch the body, I turn, I'm gonna get behind. Okay, so he's gonna wind up big. And we'll show on this camera on this side so we see the right hand coming. Go slow, let's do a dry run. Just practice. There you go, turn the corner, keep moving behind, and we're gonna go S-grip on the fingers. Beautiful, good, let's do that again. Yes, turn. And now freeze, champ, looks good. I wanna switch this hand for the other way. Yeah. So you feel how like the thumb is cutting into his hip from here?
Yeah.
Beautiful, again. Adjust the hands. Switch top and bottom. So we're going to switch correct. Which is good. A little faster on the punch.
You got it.
He's ready.
You got it.
Yes, that was better. Good. Head nice and low. Triangulated stance is good. Hand is perfect. Beautiful. That was great. One more time. That was good. Good. Do it again. It looks, I think this one looks good. It's a big movement, you're ducking in, your timing's good, you're disappearing under, you're going behind. Yep. We haven't done the rear takedown though. No. He's on top. He's choking me. He's choking from here. Wrist, foot, lower your shoulder. Over. And then I want you to get up. Back at her. We'll do that, yeah. Come around, Mark. So I'm gonna come under, trap the wrist, no thumb. Second hand, behind the elbow, open hand. Grab the foot, flare the knee, second foot comes between the feet. I'm gonna raise my hips and roll up, oh. Come up, use your hands. Offset, put your weight on him.
Back up.
And then back up. Okay, so he's gonna grab your neck, or you can grab his collars and pin him. Yeah, and then we'll do another one where you grab the lapels. We'll see, I don't know what's gonna look better for the camera.
Gotcha.
Okay, good. Grab the wrist, freeze. I want that hand to come around, let go here. That hand's gonna come underneath and grab here, but no thumb. Now close the thumb. This hand, open your hand, go behind, slow down, go behind the elbow. Try and turn it a little bit.
Tricep.
Yeah. Trap the foot with your other foot.
I can't reach his foot.
What you're gonna do, so if you can't, what you're gonna do is you're gonna use your elbow, follow me?
Yep.
Lower your elbow, lower it, and push his knee down. There. You see, now you can trap the foot. And now come back and grab the elbow. Use your hand, grab the elbow. That's it. Good, raise your hips and roll them to the side. Bridge up and over. Good, stabilize, good. No, hands on the chest.
Hands on the chest.
Stomach, chest is, like stomach is better. Okay. And then pop up. Good, when you come up, try and stagger your stance. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Good, let's do that again. That's it, again. This time, Ronnie, grab the collars. So it's like here, and I want you to pin him. That's it, Mark. Reach through, good. Now the foot, no, keep the elbow, keep the elbow. Up, yeah, trap the elbow, bridge and roll, up and over. Good, come up and hop up. Perfect, good, one more time, that was good. This time we're gonna hug the head. So Ronnie, grab the head. Do the other side. That's it. And then I want you to hook your feet around his legs, Ronnie. Hook the ankles. That's it. You feel that, Mark? So it's, you're stuck on my chest. Yeah, so what you're going to do is your right foot, you're going to kick open. Do that, open your knee, bring your foot down. You're doing good. The other arm, trap his arm, glue it to your head. Perfect. This arm, reach up and bump him and roll. That's it. Pop up. Yes. Good, again. Remember this one?
No, we haven't done this.
Yes, we did. Open the knee, kick out. That's perfect. Good. Trap the arm on the other side. Now when you go to roll him over here, instead of using your hand, I want you to use this part of your arm and bump, like reach for the stars with your hand. Yes! That's it.
Yeah, we have.
Hear what he said? Yeah, we have.
I remember the reach for the stars.
He just thought he magically knew how to undo the hook after I told it to him once. This is like such a gifted athlete. Okay, let's do, so we got that one, and then we'll do punch block. We'll finish on punch block. So this one, you're gonna remember, he's mounted on me, and he's gonna try and like punch me in the face. Go to strikes, go to strikes, go to strikes. Yeah, so I'm gonna come up, grab, glue my head, climb, climb, hug the back, trap the foot, wrap the arm. Reach for the stars. Up. This time you're not gonna get up. You're gonna push the knee down, climb, head up, head up, head up, head up. And then mount. That's it. So we're gonna go slow. He's gonna come up, give the indicator. You're gonna sit up and grab him. Sit up. Boom, that's it. Climb the back. Good. Hug the back and trap the foot. Go slow. One arm's gonna grab, go inside and over that arm.
I couldn't reach his foot, so I just pushed his knee down.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now wrap that arm from the inside. Trap it. There we go. Good. When you get to here, stay there, freeze.
Yeah.
Push down on the knee. Staple over. Freeze. Grab the head on the same side. There you go. Now push the knee and climb over. Good. Sit up and go to mount. That's it. Let's do that again. Ronnie, I want Donkey Kong. Yeah. For the camera. Good. Climb. That's it. That's it. Trap the arm. Bump him. Good. Pin the knee. Step over. Grab the head. Step over. That's it. Good. Okay? That's that.
That's great.
That's it.
How long have you been doing
Jiu-Jitsu? Around 3 years.
Yeah, what got you into it?
In all reality, just trying to find a hobby that was something hard to do.
It's that Latin American blood.
That's
Where
right.
are you from?
From El Salvador. That's right. Yes, finding something hard to do, you know, finding a hobby. I've done boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. You know, I'm a fan of all of them, but just Jiu-Jitsu has a structure that allows you to like have a record of how much, you know, how exponentially you're learning and growing.
How do you feel with the practicality of Jiu-Jitsu over a lot of the other disciplines?
I really enjoy it, right? Like, I enjoy striking as well, and, you know, punching somebody in the face feels pretty satisfying. But to have control over somebody and to keep calm in the middle of chaos, for me, that's the greater satisfaction of Jiu-Jitsu.
Learning curve for me, right? Just like, again, it's not necessarily an aggressive approach. It's slowing everything down, like Joel always teaches, and taking control of the situation.
That's right. I think that is the most satisfying. Is just to like, first of all, develop a technique and like learn it, and then not master it, because I don't think you know, I'm a white belt, haven't mastered anything, but to learn it and apply it when you're sparring with somebody, and to have that control over somebody. That's, you know, the most satisfying.
And it's interesting how it can equal people out on the mat as well. Like, I'm 200, I don't know what you are, but I'm 240 pounds. That's right. Right? So, you know, but on the mat, that size, that strength is completely irrelevant.
For sure. And like I said before, you know, just having that peace in the middle of chaos, you know, I think that Jiu-Jitsu has given that to me, you know. You know, and it's so parallel to life, right? Like, I work in a very, very stressful environment where it's like 12 hours a day. It's like constant stress of, you know, people below or people above me. And it's pretty similar, right, to what Jiu-Jitsu is, you know. The first time you spar with a blue belt, you freak out, you don't know what to do. The moment that you're under pressure, under stress, you freak out. And then you learn little by little how to control that pressure, control that, you know, of course you want to freak out. You can't breathe, you can't move, you know, but then you think, oh, wait a second, I can wiggle my leg. Perhaps, you know, that's the way out. And, you know, I think that sort of a similar attack with life.
Yeah,
you know, not to get philosophical here, but
no, I totally agree, and that's like we were talking earlier, just about how you apply Jiu-Jitsu to everyday life, right? And you're right, like on the mat, there's nothing more stressful than a fight, more chaotic than a fight. But Jiu-Jitsu is about slowing it down, and there's so many processes, or so many steps to get to that person where you want them, so that you're in control. If you can apply that to everyday life, stressful situations.
That's right.
You're learning to be comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then what happens is all these different problems that this other person is giving you, whether they're sitting on your chest or they're going to submit you.
Which Ronnie does really well.
But all it is there's solutions to all these problems, and Jiu-Jitsu gives you the solutions. You might not have them today, but now your mind is open to tomorrow. Yeah. But it's the same thing for life. As soon as I have a problem, I just have to think about the solution. There's always a solution. It's the same thing. But what Jiu-Jitsu teaches the students, even at a white belt level, is to not panic. He feels claustrophobic when I hold him. He wants to freak out, but he has to control his emotions. The same way the kids have to control their emotions. They can't be reactive. He has to be calm, because if he doesn't, it's going to burn energy, and it's going to get worse, and he's going to panic. And then eventually it's going to get to a worse position for him, and he's going to lose. And you learn over time. You said, oh, this is not benefiting me. So how can I calm my mind in this situation and calm my breathing so that I'm not as tense and I don't burn as much energy, and I can find the solution? It's the same thing. If somebody's stressing you out at work, you panic, you're never going to be finding the best solution. It's going to be a reactive solution. It's going to be an emotional solution. It's not necessarily the most rational solution. And the other thing that they're working on is finding not just any solution, but considering all the options. It's all cost-benefit analysis. Well, if I do this, then he's going to do this. That's not good. I can't do that. If I do this, he's going to do that. I can't do that. But if I do this, oh, maybe that gets me here. So you're mapping your situation out. And that is the analogy from a chess perspective, because there are moves and there are reactions to those moves, and there's moves that counter those moves, and that goes on forever. And so his mind is working to problem solve in the moment. In the beginning, he only has, it's like a Swiss Army knife. Right now, maybe he has like a dull butter knife. He's like a dull blade. Over time, that knife becomes sharper and it becomes a sword. But then eventually, he has a corkscrew. He's got a bottle opener. He's got this and that. And just, he has many more tools under his belt.
Does that make me a wooden spoon?
Thanks, Ron.
Appreciate it.
That was good.